I will ask each one of them to share a little bit about themselves for 1 minute. 1 minute only, time yourself. And one little twist is, I'm going to give you a word, English word. And within that 1 minute, you are going to use that word for at least 3 times. 3 times, okay? Then you pass your self-introduction. Maybe we start with Julian first. J for Julian, right? J for Julian. So your keyword today is jungle. Jungle, okay? You need to talk about, no, you need to use this word jungle at least 3 times in your 1 minute self-introduction.
Okay.
Okay, let's go.
I never like to go to jungle. And I'm not going to jungle in these few months. And I don't have any client related to jungles. I helped develop website and managing website. And that's it for, and also help to organize WordCamp and WordPress meetups. That's all.
Thank you very much. Correct me if I'm wrong. Many years ago, this place used to be a jungle. No, right? Yes? Okay. So now we are going to learn something here. Okay, Rashmi. R for Rashmi. And you're going to talk about rainbow. R for rainbow. Okay? Introduce yourself and use the word rainbow 3 times.
Sure. Wow, that's a tough one. So hi, I'm Rashmi. I'm a machine learning engineer at Pakistan, but a researcher at CSAIL, MIT CSAIL. My first password when I created the email account back in 2009, I think, yeah, 2009 was rainbow. So, and my password was rainbow, and I love rainbows, and I think I enjoy whenever there is a rainfall, and because I can see all the fluorescent, all the 7 colors of the rainbow, and see the peacock, because there used to be a jungle back in the back of my house. It was like in a semi-urban area. So yeah, I used the rainbow twice.
Thank you. I didn't ask you to use the word jungle. Just kidding. All right, Corey. C for Corey. Your special word today is cupcake. Cupcake, 3 times.
Hey everybody, my name is Corey Weddington. Before this event, I probably ate too many cupcakes leading up to it. That's why my clothes are fitting a little bit tighter. So I'm going to stop eating cupcakes until I eat another cupcake. Outside of that, I've been in the WordPress space for going on a decade. I've worked at many different agencies, spanning 20-person agency all the way up to 800-person agency. I mostly focus on strategy, particularly like client strategy within like digital transformations and platform projects. And yeah, cupcake.
Thank you very much, cupcake. They are creative, right? They managed to give an impromptu sharing based on a word and also themselves. Okay, we are going to make this fun to the next level. Okay, don't worry, all the questions are very easy. Now, time is of the essence. We have only about 30-40 minutes. So we are going to go through this in 3 rounds because there are 3 areas to talk about. So the first round is about workflow automation. Workflow automation. I will ask 3 questions. When I ask 1 question, any one of you can volunteer to take it. Okay? If you know the answer or if you feel like sharing, just raise your hand and then you can take it. All right? Try to take it earlier because the second question, the third question might be a little deeper. All right? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. And then after the 3 rounds, we will open this up for audience to ask you questions. And I guess their question will be tougher than mine. All right? So the first round is here. First thing, the first area is about workflow automation. Okay, a little introduction with the audience. How many of you are already using workflow automation in WordPress? Can you raise your hand? Any kind of automation, workflow automation. All right, thank you very much, Liu. Okay, so the first question is, can you give one example where automation can make a big difference in a WordPress project? Any taker?
Okay.
Julian.
Okay, I can share because I help managing client websites. So it's like automation is backup is so important. Backup is super important. So we use like tools like running clouds. They actually have automation to back up everything daily to the cloud storage. Everything is all done automation. Also some of those plugins, right? I also use services. Then they can actually help me to automate some of the plugins that I can trust, and I don't need to every week to do all manually or how manually works. There are actually a lot of this workflow is automated or is automations. All you need to just pay a small amount of money and make it work and have you, save you tons a lot of times. It saves tons a lot of times, especially for managing website, all these things. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of possibility there. Yep.
All right, thank you, Julian. Automated backup management. All right. So that is also related to the next topic, that is security. Thank you, Julian. Oh, by the way, I forgot to say, so you have got 2 minutes to answer your question, okay, because really we have so many questions to go through. Okay, the second question is this, also very easy. What are the tools or plugins you like for automating WordPress workflows? What are the tools or plugins that you like or you use to automate your workflow in WordPress?
Can I?
Sure.
Okay. So there is a tool that I am actually building at Backstack, which is AI security tool, which is analyzing the code base or the plugins that the developer is building and identifying any kind of loopholes within that code base itself. For example, let's say a developer has published a plugin and it has a security vulnerability around it. So what the tool, the Backstack is going to release in the beta versions, short trailer I gave during my talk today, in the WordCamp, which is going to be presented in the WordCamp Europe. So what that tool is going to do is, it's going to automate and review the code of the plugin and then suggest what are the security fixes and the issues are available in that plugin. So that will help in reducing the load for the security engineers, because right now they have to do all the reporting, testing and analyzing whatever the issues are there in a plugin or slash in a theme within the WordPress ecosystem and manually check whether it's exploitable vulnerability versus not. So this tool is going to reduce the time taken for a security engineer from 40 hours to like approximately 20 hours, like reducing half the time, and also going to improve their efficiency and productivity.
Thank you, Rashmi. This is so related to what you shared this morning, explainable AI for WordPress plugins. Okay, thank you very much. Sir, you're the last. So your question is this: how do you balance automation with human oversight? Automation with human oversight. So you automate the content, and then how you make sure the human still has an eye on the content.
So I think right now we're at a stage where that's not necessarily problematic. I think we are going into an era where that's going to be more likely if we don't have the checks and balances. But I would say right now with most automation workflows, there's always that stopgap or that pause. An action happens, pause, human behavior comes in. So I would say for most normal users, it's not a big deal. When you look at most automation workflows, right, it really depends on human action. So we look at CI/CD automation, it all either starts or stops with like a human interacting with a certain element. So yeah, hopefully that answers the question.
All right, thank you. Okay, so now we want to open up one question to the audience to ask about workflow automation. Do we have anyone who would like to ask one question? Calling one, twice, 3 times. Okay, you can still hold your horse and then ask the question at the end. All right, so we are coming to the second round right now. First round, okay, exciting? Do we want to make the assignment raise it to the next level? Okay. Second round, security, very, very important, right? And the question is this: what is one common WordPress security risk that people often forget about? What is that one WordPress security issue, risk, problem, or challenge that people often forget about? I'm looking at you.
Okay, I'll share, right, because past these few years, right, after these few years, I have some enterprise clients, so we every year we do some pen tests, and we found that actually a lot of website doesn't set up security header. Security header, because security header is always the one that causes the first priority issue, right? So, and you can see that out of that website, now website don't set up security header. Yeah, this is when we see like they say this website being hacked, redirect to all these gaming site, right? Is actually it can easily fix by security header, right? Even like their solutions, right? Okay, the other thing is automation, right? I like their solution is when there's vulnerability, right, they automatically patch. They have automatically patched the solution. They have automatic firewall, so to block all those necessary issues coming. So that is something I think everyone need to be considered that. Yeah.
Okay, so all WordPress developers and users, let's be concerned about that. All right, so the second question is this. This is a simple question, okay? What is one simple thing that every website should do to stay secure?
Okay, I think this one is easy. Right? That's like the
Update your WordPress.
Without, yeah, like probably hands down the easiest thing to get around, like most common vulnerabilities is at the user level, right? Too many people use pass 123. I know at least one person in this audience probably has that password. You set up 2FA, it's just the easiest solution. Yeah.
All right, thank you. The last question might be the toughest, but then I think, Rashmi, you can easily handle that because that is your forte anyway. All right? So have you ever had a security issue? Or maybe have you ever seen one security issue among your customers, students, and so on? And what did you learn about? What did you learn from it?
Right. So after having discussions with a lot of clients, building upon the tools, internal tools for that matter, / the tools which could help in aiding their workflow, I've seen a lot of times clients don't even update their plugins or they update their themes based on the websites that they have developed. So it's kind of an outdated or legacy architecture that they have been maintaining, which is kind of a technical debt in a sense that if the technologies are moving in a direction which is like a fast forward or a modern AI technology, if you have to integrate the modern AI technology, then it's pretty hard to do the integration in a legacy architecture rather than maintaining a microservices. And clearly you need to update your website based upon the new updated plugins which have security fixes and a lot of other fixes around.
All right, thank you. 3 questions answered. Give them a round of applause. I think security is very, very much important. Do we have a question on security from the floor? Any one of you? You can ask the question now or later. All right, no question. Huh? So now we are coming to the final round, round 3 fight. Okay, round 3. Okay, round 3 is about DevOps. This is an area I'm not too familiar with, so maybe you all can teach me. All right, so DevOps. Now, the first question is about getting started in DevOps. Now, if a team is new to DevOps, what is the first thing they should take with WordPress? What is the first step they should take with WordPress if a team is new to DevOps?
So I think a misconception is that DevOps is something that's complicated. The thing is, DevOps is developer operations, right? So it's really just having future thinking and doing things in a very intentional way, right? So DevOps is just having a process for certain things. So the first thing that you can do is to get into it, don't be scared, don't think you have to dive right into GitHub, don't think that you have to dive into CI/CD. It's just thinking intentionally and setting up processes for how you do things. That could just be change logs, right? That's a really easy first step. Is every time you commit a code, create a change log and document it. That's like the first step, I think, into really getting to DevOps is just thinking intentionally and doing things in a way that it's like cleaner, more efficient, and you can look back a year later and just know what you're doing. And that's a lot of what DevOps really comes down to.
All right, thank you. I think you just given us a cookbook for the beginners, for the newcomers to DevOps like me. Okay, the second question, And the second question is about common mistakes. What are some common DevOps mistakes you have seen with WordPress? What are some common mistakes you have seen in terms of DevOps, development and operations, okay, DevOps, that you have seen with WordPress?
I seen quite a lot is they are using theme plugins, right? Not for official source. They do not download it for official source. They try to maybe give it safe course or something like that, but they just didn't download it for official source, and that may bring a lot of screen issue to their website later. And a lot of times like the website be up, the client wouldn't know that what happened in the bands because the agency didn't tell them. But for us, when the client come to our site, we go in, we see that why these things are all not for this original source. Why this thing that is from funny, somewhere is funny, or maybe some of them that even bought those plugins from Shopee. So I think all this should be stopped. Shouldn't be. I mean, as an agency, right, you should just invest, and when you invest in the money, those developers, they get paid. They should do it this way. Yep.
And then liken it to installing own application like APK from for mobile web, for mobile app.
Yes, something like that.
Something like that, huh? Okay, let's be reminded on this. Okay, last question for round 3 is about version control. All right. How do you handle version control in teams with both technical and non-technical contributors to the website?
Well, one, it's just about upskilling people, right, and teaching them. I think there's, for non-technical members, version control. To be honest, you don't need those people deploying, right? You probably need those people reviewing and then understanding, like, hey, there's a feature out, you're non-technical, you requested this feature, look at the PR, understand the documentation on the PR, and then verify it, right? And then outside of that, I would say just teaching people best practices, right? And just having a standardized way of doing that. So, you know, every time there's a request, do a PR, make that a feature branch that, you know, has a preview, document everything, give sign off, move to, you know, develop, staging, production.
All right, thank you. And last question for you. Okay, what is your experience with DevOps in WordPress?
Okay, sure. So I can speak about internally within Pakistan because I deal with the DevOps folks left and right. Ask because they are providing, you know, this is not working, the model is stale, or the model is taking a lot of time. How can we optimize around CI/CD process around it? I think having the streamlined process and the clarity in the thought process about what is the planning and what is the style guidelines that you need to follow is really vital as to what the other panelists has mentioned. But at the same time, need to be aware about what are the changes in the different versions that are happening, and being aware about the best practices is kind of a key at a company.
I know early days of WordPress, 2016, 2017, everybody hid WP admin. When you look at like the vulnerability reports, most vulnerabilities aren't through the admin. Nobody's brute forcing login URLs anymore. If they are, you've got way bigger issues than just an exposed. You probably have like numerous issues, right? So I think it comes down to like, if you have a CISO or somebody, a client that is like very nervous about that being exposed, sure, do it. Would I push that out to all of my websites? Absolutely not. Just as an example, you can go to Microsoft. I know Microsoft doesn't hide their WP admin URLs. You can go to news, research, stories. They don't. A lot of other big corporate sites don't either because, yeah.
Thanks.
Last week, I made a change in the website. There was an AI integration I was doing, and it was working really well on the development stage and the testing stage, but on the production environment, it broke. So our clients were just calling in from all around the world, and it broke in a sense that there was no customer service at that point because it was late in the night for all of us. And then the next morning when I got a message and a call, okay, now the website is down and this service is not at all working, this AI integration at all is not working. That was the biggest learning. And none in my company / the fellows with whom I work they blamed me because I was taking the lead in that particular aspect. But we collectively solved that problem by doing the RCE, I mean root cause analysis, what is happening behind the scenes. Laying out the structuring practice so that in future we should not repeat that mistake and learn from those mistakes at the same time, but having a collaborative and a growth mindset and not being afraid of making any sort of mistakes, be it putting your website down for the last 6 hours. So that's what I would say is my approach towards solving this problem.
I guess I struggle to find. So if you are deploying, the theory is like you should be through Git, right? So at least like you have a code backup. So maybe you don't have a database backup. Is that the thing? You deployed code, database got corrupted somehow, and you have no database backup. To be honest, I would say it's uncommon if you are working on like actual deployments and you're on Git to not have like a backup unless something really went corrupted. And I would say that's just make sure you have like off-site backups, or at least like if you're in a situation where that could happen, make sure you have a backup that's not on the same server infrastructure that you're doing these deploys on, where it could be corrupted or overwritten or something like that. And yeah.
So what is the good practice you suggest?
Having the multiple nodes and instances, I think that's where we also solve this problem. Just the rollback of the service and then pushing from a different server altogether.
Well, and then having, you know, like develop staging prod, right?
Different environments.
Yeah.
But I'm going to ask some stupid questions, okay? Just give me some very brief answers, each of you. So I'm going to ask you, what is security? What is DevOps? What is workflow automation? So let's start with workflow automation. What's so big deal about workflow automation? What is it? Julian? Or you prefer another question?
I'll say in very layman terms, workflow automation is something that you pay and save you tons a lot of times. Something you pay some services and something you set up and you save you a lot of time to do some other stuff. You get more time to enjoy life, something like that.
So in short, you do it once, pay it once, and then it helps make your life easier thereafter.
Yes. I think a lot of people keep like trying to save costs, and they are not subscribing or they are not paying, and they try to find a cheaper way or find alternate way, but end up they may spending more time to search for those different workflow, and most of those workflow may not work together kind of thing. So I think they should just pay something that's comfortable and do it automatic and save them tons a lot of times.
All right, thank you. Now the second area is about security. Now all of us know security is of utmost importance, but let me just put it another way. For those of us who are new to WordPress development, why should we care so much about security? I develop first, then worry about the rest later. Why?
Right. If you don't want to be in my situation where you are putting the website of your company down for 6 hours, security first principles is a must. You need to be aware about the study guide and what are the basic fundamentals while you are building and structuring the code around it. And if the person who is new in the WordPress ecosystem altogether, understanding the fundamentals and thinking through first principles rather than writing overcomplicated code, which can be done through a simple, simple logic all around. So I think security boils down to a lot of trust. If you're building a service, and that has to build the trust of your customers, right? So security, in a nutshell, applies to the trust of the customer. So it's really vital to have the security first thinking principles in mind while you're developing a product.
All right, so with security comes confidence, and with confidence comes trust. Thank you, Rashmi. Okay, last question. So can you tell me what is DevOps?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's DevOps embodies everything that's developer operations. I think the easiest way to understand it is to look at like where we were 10 years ago in terms of what it took to push code out onto a server. It took a lot of different people. I gotta ask somebody for code, I gotta pull code from a certain source, I gotta verify that it's like the latest code, I need to run security checks, I need to ask my manager to approve it. When we look at DevOps now, so much of it's been automated. So I can put in a pull request, and then automatically that creates a ticket, and it creates like a new branch, and that creates a preview on staging environment. And then whenever I'm ready to push that code, a linter goes through and like make sure that I'm not doing dumb stuff, and then I deploy it, and then all of a sudden there's automation with smokescreen testing, and we get automated testing in a bunch of various ways where it spins up other environments. So it's just looking at like how we can gain efficiencies in what we've always done, but just make it 10 times faster, right? It doesn't matter what form that's in. That can be really advanced, or it can just be really simple as well. So yeah.
All right, thank you, Corey. Now, can I ask the organizer, do we still have two, 3 more minutes? Because I don't see any time indication. Okay, just one last round, just briefly answer me, okay? So after this session, you might not be speaking in another WordCamp for a few more weeks or months. So what are your last advice for the participants here in WordCamp while we are still holding the mic? Maybe Julian first?
Join the next camp.
That is given.
So this is my second time attending a WordCamp conference, and I'm fortunate for the organizers for giving me this opportunity to present here. So I would say that WordPress community in general, it's very inclusive, community driven altogether. So if you have any questions, please reach out to the people altogether. People appreciate new beginners, and it really doesn't matter from where you are starting from. So that's, I would really say, community is the core of WordPress, and we want to make the community as inclusive as possible.
Okay, so this is an inclusive community, though we come from diverse backgrounds. All right, so Corey, what are your advice?
So I guess 2 things of advice. First of all, don't deploy on Friday. Second of all, have a drink tonight at the after party and make a new friend.
With that, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of panel 1 on the 3 important areas in WordPress development. So the party is not done yet. We still have another panel. So let's put our hands together for Julian Song, Rashmina Pao, Corey Wellington. Thank you for learning together.